Daniel on the lion's den. Yes, brothers and sisters, Hanukkah Shalom, Hanukkah Sameach, Des Yibalachu. Be happy, rejoice, brothers and sisters. We're in the sixth day of Hanukkah. And it's very interesting. I'm just observing here in the fourth book of Maccabees, been an meditation on this, ever-increasing meditation on Maccabees, but in particular on the fourth book of Maccabees. In the fourth book of Maccabees here in the Lost Books of the Bible, Forgotten Books of Eden. Get a copy of it, be sure to get a copy of it. I like the art on the new cover and everything, but we touched on that already, so let's just keep it moving forward right here. What's interesting is that there's 8 chapters, and there are 8 lights. There are 8 lights of Hanukkah. Right, the 8 lights of Hanukkah, and that doesn't mean that we have a different menorah. It's the same menorah that Yahweh said, that Jah Rastafari Adonai, Jah Rastafari said from such a time. So it's that same 7 branch. Let's just bring this up right here, right? The 7 branch. All right, this is a setup for where we're about to go. Right here, this is the right. This is the correct menorah, right? The menorah, or the lampstand, correctly and properly known as the lampstand, right? It's the stand for the lights, and the 7, right? The 7, and these 7, the Shabbat, the oath, right? We can even say leading to that covenant, the 7. And now Hanukkah is the time of the relivification, right? The relivification of the tabernacle. The relivification of the tabernacle. The renewing, some say the rededication, right, of the tabernacle. Oh, okay, yes, I just here, in the meditation. So let's just do a vlog on this, and share this with my brothers and sisters. So you recall Daniel. Right, Daniel in the lion's den. Right now, this is amazing work right here. I give thanks to Abba Father, to Abuna Nugusana. Right, I give thanks to Abuna Nugusana, to Kadamawi Hala Selassie, and to Gita Jesus Christos, for you all, for I and I co-laborers. I think it was I and I sister Natachin Brigitte, and hail up Ras Muata, I and I Wendem, I and I brethren. But give thanks, sis, 'cause I think that I had mentioned in the Women's Wednesday broadcast. You had mentioned the Women's Wednesday broadcast that, like what I think the I and the I family, were doing and have done, like, to liberate, to celebrate, and to honor, the appointed times and seasons like the Hanukkah. And you mentioned about reading, the family was reading up. And the Irid has spoken to I to go to the Lost Books of the Bible, Forgotten Books of Eden, and to check it out, as well as I and I, Sister Emmanuel, often quoting from the Shepherd of Hermes. And I would really recommend the Lost Books of the Bible, Forgotten Books of Eden in particular. Even the translation, I think, is a better translation than some of the other translations out there. And hopefully you can, give a 2 or 3, witnesses and examples of what we mean. But you recall Daniel, Don-El, right? Daniel. And the prophecy given to Daniel is very, very significant. And we've been reasoning on Daniel, right? And the 70 weeks, right? And both the first advent, right? And the second advent, or what they call the second coming of Ha-Messiah, of Moshiach, of Christos, of Christ, the anointed. Now, that's very interesting because, there is the Judaic and was this Judaic reasoning that came out of meditating and studying the book of Hanok. Now, the book of Hanok, the word in Hebrew, Hanok and Hanukkah is related. In other words, Hanukkah comes from Hanuk, right? And just a basic Strong's, you could do it on maybe Blue Letter Bible as well as the word software, just a basic word study on that. And hopefully, I think we brought this forward before, but we can seek to bring that forward again right here for the I in a vlog. So if the I requested as time and opportunity, I will seek to, do a record on it. In fact, thinking about it right now, if it wasn't for this beautiful picture we have here of Daniel and the lion's den, because of what was said, what was said here in the 4th book of Maccabees in chapter 7. Now, like we said, there's 8 chapters. Are you thinking what I is thinking? Christ's minds think alike on the network of the King of Kings Christ and the Christ consciousness, that since there's 8 chapters, right, for each of these 8 days, hopefully even looking forward in the future, each of these chapters in particular brings out some very crucial reasonings, and even the word sound power of reasoning, where I as Rastafari, have already put an investment in Maccabee, in the word sound, and the essence, the substance of Maccabee, right? The Maccabee Bible, and this particular period of our lost and suppressed history. This is really like the missing key between the Old Testament and the New Testament, as well as prophecy. Just in scanning through this particular book, the 4th book, I see words like where it says right here, it says, let us not fear him who thinketh he kills. It reminds I of Ha-Messiah's statement, fear not he who can kill the body. Right? It says here in the 4th book of Maccabees. So there's many quotes even in the New Testament, right? In the mouth of the Savior especially, and also of the apostles of Adonenu, of I Adonai, right? That are in reference, like in Jude, there's a whole pointed reference and even quoting from the book of Enoch. And now the book of Enoch was not known to the Western Gentile church, but it was known to the Black Jewish and the Judaic church, of which the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has its roots, right, in that primitive Christina, that primitive Christianity, or that messianic. Remember, Christ came to his own, but his own, the black and brown Jews, refused him. But as many, there were a few, there was a remnant who received him. So this is where we get that kind of Ethiopic Tabot Christianity as well. Just to show how there is so many layers of correspondence within these documents, right? Within these scriptures, right? This is why it says to search out of the scriptures and to read. right? Is it not written? So it says, let us not fear him who thinketh he kills, for a great struggle and peril of the soul awaits in eternal torment those who transgress the ordinance of God, the ordinance of Elohim. It says, let us then arm ourselves. So how do we arm ourselves? It says, let us arm ourselves with divine or divine reasons, mastery of the passions. So as we grow, as we go from the old man and come into the new man in the King of Kings Christ, right? And we grow in grace and we grow in the knowledge, we find that such works as the fourth book of Maccabees, it reminds us of the importance of faith, right? Or a religion, the true religion, the hymenot. We call it hymenot, the Tawahido faith, the faith that was once delivered to the saints, to the holy ones, those who were set apart. Those black and brown Jews who had faith in Messiah Yeshua were set apart. They were his Kedusan. They were his Kedoshim. They were his holy ones. They were set apart, right? And they were even united with his people, right? Speaking of that kingdom, right, from Solomon's and the Queen of Sheba's, right, child, who is Menelik, who established the kingdom of David, renewed the kingdom of David in the tops of the mountains. And we all know that Ethiopia is the roof of Africa, right, in the tops of the mountains, right? One of the few lands that really has that biblical, that reference and resonance because of that holy covenant, right? Speaking about historically, right now, we're in a dispensation today, which is also very much spoken to and addressed. And we have the keys of overcoming even the apostasy, the falling away, and even the defilement of the sanctuaries today, because the sanctuaries have been overrun, just as it says within the Psalms, so forth and so on. So the book of Daniel, right? The book of Daniel and the fourth book of Maccabees says this right here. It says this right here. It says, this is what the mother, right? This is what the mother said, right? Upon seeing Eleazar being tortured, and thou spakest to thy sons in the Hebrew tongue, right? So she spoke to her sons, right, in the Hebrew tongue. Let's bring this up right here. All right. This is, okay, the Maccabees, the mother, right? The mother and her seven sons. It's just a kind of a placeholder right there, just for kind of a visual resonance right here. She said, my sons, noble is the fight, noble is the fight. And do y'all, do I and we, Rastafari, being called. How long, Rastafari, call I? How long? Being called thereto to be a witness, to testify for our nation, I nation. Fight therein zealously on behalf of the law of our fathers, the law of I patriarchs, right? And for I in this Rastafari, Son of Man, revelation time is fight for the true law, right? The true law of the King of Kings in Christ, right? And we have that right there within the gospel, within the Bible, within his glory. For it would be shameful if, while this aged man, right, or the old man, right, this aged man, when you read further in the book of Maccabees, you'll see the reference, if this aged man endured the agony for religion, the true religion, the hymenot, the living faith's sake, you that are young men shrank before the pain. This reminds me of the tune by Garnet Silk, another martyr of Rastafari, when he does the song Skylarking, right? Skylarking. He says what most youths them doing today with skylarking. You're trotting Rastafari. That means you've entered into the kingdom of the heavens. But in the heavens, you're skylarking. You're playing in the heavens, right? For it would be shameful if, while this aged man endured the agony for the hymenot's sake, you that are young-minded shrank before the pain. Remember that for the sake of Elohim and for the sake of Ha Elohim Kadamawi Haile Selassie, ye have come into the world and have enjoyed life, even Jah's life, Jah life, and that therefore ye, I and we, Ras Teferi, we owe it to Ha Elohim. We owe it to Kadamawi Haile Selassie to endure all pain for his sake. To endure all pain for his sake. Let's see if we can bring this up right here, right? To endure all pain, right, for his sake. For whom also our father Abraham made haste to sacrifice his son Isaac, the ancestor of I and I nation. And Isaac, seeing his father's hand lifting the knife against him, did not shrink. And Daniel, right? And Daniel, the just man, the tzaddik, right? The righteous man was cast to the lions, and Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael were flung into the furnace of fire. And they endured for Jah's sake. They endured for Elohim Kadamawi Haile Selassie's sake. And ye also, having the same faith, having the same imnet, having the same Tawahido imnet, the same true and living hymenot, having the same faith, right? The same faith that was once delivered to the saints. Be not troubled, right? Be not troubled, right? We are not to be troubled, right? Having that same, right? Having that same faith. Daniel, this is a kind of an orthodox, one of the churches. I love this one right here. And the prophet Daniel in the lion's den, right? I wait for the Lord. My soul waits. And in God's word and Elohim's word, I hope. Out of the depths I cry to you, Yahweh. Hear I voice. If you, Yahweh, should mark iniquities, who could stand? But he's merciful, he's gracious, and he giveth more grace. Amen. Yes, I. Right? And so the lions, right? The lions bowed. Right? They bowed. Jehovah's, the lions bowed. Right? God, Jah loves you and has a wonderful plan for I and I life, because many of those who tried it before I and even in Rastafari, right, have endured martyrdom, have endured some terrible afflictions, right? So it's them who sowed, and we are reaping that which they have sown. So in I rejoicing, and I receiving the inheritance and receiving the kingdom, we also remember them and we give thanks and we learn and gain strength and courage, right, from them testimonies. So Daniel, right, Daniel in the lion's den. And Daniel, the just man, was cast to the lions, and Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael were flung into the furnace of fire, and they endured for Jah's sake. And ye also, having the same faith to Elohim, Kadamawi Haile Selassie, be not troubled, for it were against reason. It is against reason. Come make I and I reason. Why this is against reason? It's against reason that ye, I and we, Rastafari, knowing righteousness, and even the righteous man, and even the king of righteousness, the Melchizedek, should not withstand the pains. It's against reason that if we know his righteousness, right, then even when there's that tribulation, right, or pain, right, we are able, right, to withstand, right, and doing all, as we can even see Donnell right here in this I trait right here, doing all to stand. You know what I mean? To stand. I stand Jah ground. Yes, I. With these words, the mother of the seven encouraged every single one of her sons to die, right, if necessary. That's why Christ says, fear not one who can, kill the body, right? Fear not the one who can kill the body. So with these words, the mother of the seven encouraged every single one of her sons to die rather than transgress the ordinance of Ha-Elohim, of Kadamawi Haile Selassie, rather than transgress the order of Adonai Jah, Rastafari. They themselves also knowing well that men dying, right, dying for Ha-Elohim, Kadamawi Haile Selassie, they live to Ha-Elohim, Kadamawi Haile Selassie, as lived Abraham, Isaac, Yitzhak, and Jacob, and Yaakov, and all of the patriarchs, and all of the fathers. Now, whoa, this is from the end of
Thank you.